Net worth does not equal freedom. You can use it to buy freedom, but it's not a guarantee. When I became a net worth millionaire, there was no song and dance, no fanfare, and no Porsche at the end of my driveway. I just added up my assets and subtracted my debt and was like, huh, cool, I'm a millionaire. But I was still living in the same house, driving the same car, all reasonably modest, and working the same job. But when I sold some property and had 600K in cash in the bank and very low expenses, no mortgage, no car loans, high income, that's when I felt rich and much less stressed than any time since my property investing journey started. So it made me question freedom and what it actually is. There's another example that I like to use, and it was Ronald Reed. He worked as a janitor and a gas station attendant for his whole life, and without telling anyone, he quietly invested in the stock market, in dividend stocks, and avoided anything he didn't understand or was overhyped. When he died, he had amassed over 8 million US dollars from dollar cost averaging over time. But over this time, no one knew he had this fortune. When he died, he gave $2 million to his stepchildren and the rest to charity. But the reason I say this is because he had a high net worth, but didn't automatically have power, status, and freedom. He could have chosen to live anywhere, do anything, quit his job, and he still lived a very frugal life and worked right up until 76 years old. Not exactly exemplifying what we think of when we think financial freedom. This feeds the insight I had with property. A lot of property investors and influencers preach that having a big portfolio is the way to financial freedom. But how free are you if you owe most of that money to the banks? Now, don't get me wrong, having a high net worth gives you options. But my argument is that while you have the property portfolio, you don't necessarily have freedom. Let's look at 500K invested in shares versus 500K net worth in property, but $2 million overall property value. Let's say that on the property side, you are making 100K yield, 5%, but that the cost of that $1.5 million debt is actually 105K. So you're still having to put in that $5,000 a year, which keeps you working. Now, on paper, this makes more money. 10% growth on $2 million is 200K per year, but this is paper gains, not realized until sale unless you keep stacking debt. Compare that to 500K invested in shares, which you could take out tomorrow if you wanted to, and which on average generates 50K per year. Which option would be easier to change jobs, take a risk, or risk taking extended time off? Well, from experience, the properties keep you hustling. Even if mathematically it makes more money on paper, net worth does not automatically equal freedom. Another example that I like to use is Succession. Look at that whole TV show where these super high net worth individuals had very low autonomy and agency. They really needed to rally votes and play politics just to be able to maintain their status and money. Every cent was tied up in the share value of that company that they had no control over. Net worth does not automatically equal freedom. So not saying you can't buy your freedom with net worth, but it's a factor to consider when choosing which path you want to go down. If you want freedom, don't optimize for net worth, optimize for freedom and let your net worth grow. Or alternatively, optimize for net worth, but realize that in the short term, you won't have freedom. But maybe one day you could buy it. One thing that is synonymous with financial freedom is passive income. But this has some pitfalls. So watch this video to see my video breakdown of passive income.